Okay, Derek Trader says, question for the panel. How bad of a long-term effect will OnlyFans have on the dating market? I work in finance and the company is growing at an incredible rate. For example, payment to creators in 2022 was a staggering $5.6 billion, source Bloomberg.
I want to get Orion's opinion on this. Real quick before, do we have Cassie's thing?
We do, but you can
okay,
do this one
let's get your opinion, take on it. What's your? Because we've talked about OnlyFans ad nauseum. What do you think the impact will be on this OnlyFans economy that we have long term?
Oh, it's only going to grow. It's only going to get bigger. It's actually just using technology to leverage something that women have been doing for centuries.
Well said.
Good point.
So in general, men exchange resources for sexual opportunity and women exchange sexual opportunity for resources. And if either party can get what they want more cheaply, more safely, or more easily than in relationships in real life, they will do so.
Yes.
That's just true. And so what a woman can now do is she can leverage her one sexual opportunity, whereas in the past it was tied more or less to one or maybe just a few men. Using technology, she can leverage that one opportunity to literally millions of men.
Yeah.
And it's completely safe to her because she has, a screen between him and her.
Yeah.
I remember I watched a TikTok just recently where a woman seems to be flying in first class. Who knows if this is real, but the caption says, I just realized, how am I going to pay for this flight? And it cuts to her in the bathroom and she's kind of like putting her shirt back on. So the idea is she did some sort of like quick OnlyFans streams in the bathroom of the airplane to get the kind of money that she needs to just fund the airplane. And whereas before, if a woman needed something, she would just go like hit up her husband. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I got to powder my nose. We need an extra $100 for this. Now she just has men in general that she can go to for money. And she just gives a little sugar and the guys will throw dollars on the virtual stage. And so on some level, it's going to be harder and harder for women to resist that pull because it allows them access, well, kind of. I talk about in my book that there are captains and passengers. And those are actually gender neutral roles. Like women in today's day and age are actually encouraged and supported to be captains, right? But because they're women, they're going to go about their captaincy in different ways. And on some level, what we see as a female captain is how can I load as many passengers onto my boat by leveraging my sexual opportunity. So these TikTok stars, these OnlyFans stars, they're kind of like female captains. They're like, just like a male captain is like, I want to get as many women on my boat as possible because I'm going to use my status and resources. Well, women are selling their sex for money. And they can do so on a grand scale now. Yeah. And I think that's going to lure more and more, especially young women, into that. And it's going to be very hard for them further down the road.
Well, I'll take it a step further. So I was talking to this girl, and her friend is a nurse anesthetist, okay, making easily somewhere between $100,000 to $200,000 per year, still on a sugar site. So I tell y'all a lot of the times sugar sites are good for meeting, different types of girls. Of course, you guys say, oh, you guys go sugar babies, blah, blah, blah. We use sugar sites to date, right? And you can actually meet a lot of successful women. As a matter of fact, it's a lot of lawyers, doctors, etc.
Use it.
They're on those sites to screen out brokies, right? So you can actually, if you're one of these guys that like wants a girl that like isn't necessarily a brokey or a girl that like you can converse about certain topics, whatever the fuck it is, you'll find them on that site, right? A lot of times their profile is private and they'll contact you. A whole other conversation. Point I'm trying to make is this. She's a professional making a significant amount of money, but what does she do? She's still on there looking for guys to pay her rent, looking for guys to buy her bags, still exploiting, right, her sexuality for some type of benefit. And what I've realized is that regardless of a woman's income, status, etc., a lot of them will still find a way or regress back to sexualizing themselves to get something out of men. And if they can do it without having to necessarily give up the box, they will do it. This girl had a boyfriend the whole time that she was doing it, man. And with the internet, women are basically able to scale their sexuality now at an unprecedented level. And they're able to do it safely now. It used to be you had to be at a strip club and deal with weirdos touching you. It used to be in the Wild West during the gold rush, you had to be a prostitute and risk chlamydia and syphilis to have sex with, Westerners that were, going to the West during the gold rush and, risk getting killed by Native Americans, Comanches and all this other bullshit. But now women are able to do it through the safety of the internet and home. And you had a key word there, sexual opportunity. AKA, it doesn't actually have to happen. Yeah. Just the guise of potentially happening or the fantasy is enough. That's how webcam succeeds. That's why if you look at OnlyFans creators, half these chicks that make a lot of money, they have a boyfriend or they have a dude that they're with, but they don't show that because it's going to significantly affect their ability to collect revenue.
I'd also like to add as well that these girls that do OnlyFans pretty much, they want love too. Just that on some level, they have attention at their beck and call, and it kind of like has a placebo effect because it kind of gives them that like, oh, you know what, I'm getting all this attention, but missing the love aspect. But the problem is, once you go down this path of OnlyFans, the guys that they actually want don't want them. So it's a cycle of like meeting guys, getting smashed, getting tossed back to the dating pool, and I can only imagine how depressed they're gonna be when they get older. Yeah, because it's gonna be even harder.
Yeah, I gave a prediction, and I'd love to get your take on this. I have a prediction that we already have a multitude of women suffering from mental illnesses of anxiety and, depression and withdrawals, whatever the fuck it is.
Nearly every woman I personally know is on psychiatric medication.
Wow. Bro, that's crazy.
Wow. I predict, and I said this on another episode, but I'm going to say it one more time. In the next 20 to 30 years, right, when these Gen Zers are older and past the wall, right, because they're really the ones that are like on the forefront of this stuff. Right? People in our age group in their 30s, we still remember what it was like to not have social media and growing up on iPads. But these Gen Zers born in the late 90s and early 2000s, dude, them especially, in the next 30 to 40 years, you're going to see a mass spike in mental medication prescriptions. Like, because it used to be, right? Look at Britney Spears right now, right? Britney Spears is off her fucking rocker. If you guys look at her on Twitter, she's dancing around with knives and going crazy, blah, blah, blah. And she was famous back in the 90s, right? At a crazy level. This is before social media. That's what I call real fame, right? She was famous as fuck. Now you have regular chicks, regular ass girls that have huge audiences, enormous amounts of attention. They're getting contacted on the internet all the time. They're almost like pseudo celebrities, right? Maybe not to the level of Britney Spears, but they're getting damn near the same amount of attention that she got 20 years ago. You're telling me that that's not going to affect them mentally? That they're not going to be dancing around in a fucking thong with knives and shit like that in the next 20 to 30 years when they hit the wall and they're no longer able to elicit the same attention they did because now the new younger girls on the block are getting all the attention? I genuinely think we're going to have a mass increase in psychiatric medication being prescribed to young women or older women now at that point.
I agree with everything you guys have just said. And I think that we have to be let's go talk a little bit more about what attention is. It's not just eyeballs on you. It is a rush. Like, I remember that from my days as an actor. It's like when you walk on stage and the lights are on you and the whole audience, hundreds of people are quiet and they're focused and attentive to whatever you're doing. It is an emotional, exhilarating experience.
Yeah.
And I know women who won't, like, they're professionals, they're in relationships, they'll keep stripping. They'll keep doing things on OnlyFans because I think they miss that rush.
Yeah.
I miss it sometimes. It's like, I don't miss being an actor, but I miss performing because it's really like no other experience in the world. You don't even get it here. Like, I know that there's nearly 10,000 people watching us, but they're out there.
Yeah.
You know, it's like to have that living, breathing attention. It's not just notoriety.
Can't replicate
it's
that.
an emotional euphoria.
We saw recently Joe Smith and his wife, right? And he married her, and she kind of stopped the behavior of, the porn scenes and the, stripping stuff. And the moment things slow down, what does she do? Go right back to it. But this time on OnlyFans. So you're right, man. That rush, that actual, like, I want to say level of like attention, it's hard to find that anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's scary.
Yeah, and I think women getting it at an unprecedented level on a mass scale, right? It's going to make them go crazy. I mean, there was this one woman, I forget her name, Mo, maybe if you could remind me. We talked about this with Rollo Tomasi.
Model?
She was a model.
Older.
She was Playboy, Playmate, whatever. She was dating a rock star, etc. She's like in her 50s or 60s now, right? And unfortunately, Caucasian women tend to age pretty poorly. She's way beyond her great years.
Milk.
Yeah, it's spoiled, definitely. But she was hot back in the day. She's literally like posting Instagram posts about like, oh, I'm invisible now. This sucks, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, welcome to being a fucking guy.
Now,
like,
we
holy
feel.
shit. But it's like she can't like handle it. Like, she's literally posting pictures of herself crying on the thing. Like, I don't know how to handle this, blah, blah, I'm invisible now, blah, blah, all this other shit. And I'm like, wow. And this is a girl that experienced a fraction of the attention and validation that modern women are experiencing now. And here's the other thing too. I don't know if you guys, those documentaries that came out like a year or two ago on social media and how they purposely make it to make you addicted to the likes. That even the way they put the graphics on the app when you get a notification or you get a new message or whatever, they design it in a way to keep you coming back. This is why, man, I can't tell you how many times we've seen girls lose their Instagrams or whatever it may be. They freak out.
Yeah,
they literally lose their mind. They don't even make money on it. There's not even a business on there. But they lose their fucking minds because that addiction, that dopamine hit when people like your posts or people comment or people send you messages or validate your behaviors.
It's a real thing.
It's huge for them.
You know what's scary? So there's a guy in LA that is kind of like a scammer. And what he'll do is he'll ban the Instagram girl's account that he wants. And they say, hey, you want this shit back? You got to fuck.
Oh, God.
And you know what's crazy? Like, from what I've heard, 9 out of 10 times, they fuck for the page back.
No kidding.
And this guy's
That's crazy.
This guy's hideous, bro.
That nigga going to jail, bro.
For real, bro. I coached it at the highest level.
Yeah.
What the fuck? But notice,
Yeah, he's going to get busted for that eventually.
Yeah,
that
he definitely,
level of, I want to say, manipulation only works because they need it back that badly. That's crazy, bro.
Here's another thing to keep in mind. That's one of the reasons why the dynamic between women and their mothers is so complicated, because there's actually a lot of potential envy in that relationship. You see a woman who's past her prime who sees her daughter getting the attention that she used to have. And I think that's part of what makes mother-daughter relationships really interesting and complex that we don't really have to deal with.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.